You're saying that to an American, I hope you know. Actually, it seems to be kind of agreed upon amongst a lot of people that I've ever talked to or read about that American tourists are definitely seen as annoying. Other tourists from other countries are also seen as annoying, though. But Americans, as just typical everyday Americans, are actually quite nice. That seems to be the shared sentiment amongst many people. Loud, yes, but nice. Top left is the red Protoss Astrea. And in the bottom right, we have the blue Protoss herO. Ex-CJ herO. Is he on DPG now? I think. He'll always be CJ herO in my heart. So a PvP between these two, it's actually really funny. I don't think Astrea is like a successor to herO. Especially because herO's back, obviously. But you know, if Astrea had told me at any time, like I took a lot of inspiration from herO back in 2016, I'd be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. It's not exactly the most direct inspiration that I've ever seen. I think Astrea is overall very much his own player. I think he really likes thinking about StarCraft, so he doesn't necessarily let other people influence him a lot. He cuts everything apart and then picks the things he likes and puts it into his own. He's a big old Frankenstein's monster of Protoss. But herO has been the, I guess, leader, the charge headfirst into a new type of play, into the risky maneuvers, into the, oh, that looks interesting, let's do that, without much practice type of player. Not that I actually know if he does practice a lot of builds, I'm assuming he does, but you get what I'm saying. Feels like herO, I guess, with experience and age, feels like more of the leader of the weird Protoss group, and Astrea is the young upstarts who's not trying to make a separate group to lead the charge, but is unintentionally doing so. That's how I would picture it. So to have them to go up against each other, I just find that very fun, actually. PvP should be wild and wacky and not make any sense. Astrea brings that quality out of Neeb, of all people, so, you know, imagine Astrea versus herO. It should be super weird. So far, it's actually quite normal, though. A bit of probe scouting either way. herO's hidden probe got scouted, funnily enough, so no tempted hidden pylons come into play. Hallucination quickly from Astrea, and herO should be doing the same thing. Look at that. So it happens when you open Stalker Sentry. Open Stalker Sentry. Ah. Twilight Council, even before they actually scout each other, is understandable. It's actually not that surprising. It's more that maybe Astrea would cancel a shield battery. Well, not this one. I think this is still a safe one because, I mean, Astrea has done this before, right? Which is to get a proxy pylon. Well, not a proxy gateway. But there is a proxy gateway, so that is worth talking about. What I was gonna say is that there's builds in PvP that don't actually necessarily add a structure or a technology, but they just consistently warp in, which is different than what the other Protoss guy is doing. So having a natural shield battery is actually always very safe. And in this case, it's gonna save the sentry. Nice defense against the Adepts. And specifically in this case, it'll help against the actual extra build gateway 3-gate attack that herO was doing, prefacing his Adept Resonant Glaives build. Now this is out of the ordinary. 100% Astrea sees this and thinks blink. Aggressive blink, perhaps, but blink. Okay, just gonna time you out. I think you're being a little weird. Maybe you are actually hacked as well, I don't know. Astrea's 2 Adepts are the unfortunate scouting squad. Astrea is at least able to scout this, though, and recalls the Stalkers immediately. Sentries go up on the high ground as they're the most vulnerable thing, and they honestly just don't help very much in a direct fight. Stalkers will stand the test of the adept shots. Sentries will not. And herO kind of has really one choice in this scenario, and that's to go for the natural probes, which are going to get pulled into the main base, so not many of them will die. Blink is done, overcharge is used, and Astrea only going to lose 5 adepts. Or shit, no, hold on. Let's let that happen. Excellent defense. First and foremost, excellent defense. The pylon, the force field, just in case he's as the adepts shade onto the force field, and then they try to shoot it down because it's a fresh pylon. Shit. Then the force field blocks them from entering when they're not in shade mode. But yeah, Astrea also only lost 2 adepts. None of the stalkers got killed, and that's very good play from Astrea. herO is not totally out of this game just because it failed. He still has a good economy, and he still has the ability to make his way to +1 in Blink, just like Astrea has, but right now he has lost the map control. He's losing the army. Third Nexus comes down for Astrea, which hero's going to find it very troublesome to actually stop that, so he just kind of has to go for his own. But then he can go for his own, maybe get sniped by Astrea's active Blink Stalkers. It can be tough to have the later Blink, but it seems to be okay. herO really could have done so much more damage, so much more, but Astrea did have to respond rather harshly to defend, so I guess everything kind of turns out equal. 2 adepts doing more than the 6 or 8 adepts, whatever it was, did. 9 probes go down. Now herO has a 7-worker lead. He is still behind a Nexus, though. He's actually building up to what looks to be a 2-base attack, but with intentions to macro behind it, because his +2 is on the way. If he can get across the map with Immortals, he actually might just win. Astrea has 13 stalkers that could have been trying to, scout this and bully it as much as possible, but now that the army's already across the map, Astrea's gonna have a really difficult time holding. Immortals are just straight up better in the situation. Oh, let's see how Force Field and Blink Micro do. No shield batteries, a real bummer for Astrea. Guardian Shield, I guess, is working favorably for him. His Nexus will now take all the damage and potentially get sniped. Shield battery's still not done. I don't think he can really save unless he has the shield batteries. The Disruptor pops out, though. Gonna go for a shot, but there's Blink available, so only finds the Sentry. Shield batteries are done. Does he use it on the Nexus or not? He's gonna try Overcharge as well. It's taking shots, but not quite dying. There it goes. herO just had to kind of move his forces together and target fire it, and that is a victory for herO. Both in the Nexus kill as well as the game by the looks of things. herO does a Resonant Glaives build that's looked incredibly unsuccessful. I was really impressed with Astrea's hold, but apparently was fine. He moves on to a 2-base attack that still has a lot of macro prowess behind it and takes a dominating victory around the 3rd Nexus. It might not be game over yet, but it should be soon. herO's got such a better economy. An entire Nexus has to be rebuilt for Astrea to catch up. An entire Nexus, that takes a long time, guys. Surprising damage coming out from the Stalkers, which do recall in sight of the Warping and the counter recall. Or was his the counter recall? I guess Astrea's was the counter recall. 20 Stalkers to 9. Oh god. Oh, herO might be able to win with this push. 3 Disruptors, though. Gotta be a little careful about how you micro this, especially with the ping disadvantage. Ah, Astrea, you're not the one with the ping disadvantage. Yeah, Astrea eventually has to shoot all his shots, and that's when herO collapses in on him. Excellent play from herO. I'm just so shocked he was able to get into the position that he did. I guess the difference really is whether Astrea has the shield batteries ready to go, because I think if he does, if 2 shield batteries are there with an overcharge, yeah, this game isn't over like this. It's surprisingly even, all things considered, but it's not over. Now it's over. Astrea about to get pincered. Oh my god, herO just blinked into the disruptor. Oh my god. That actually evens up the army a little bit, but not enough. herO still has 3 bases, 15 more workers. And still so many more stalkers, but oh no. That was unexpected. Here's gonna ram stalkers down his throat by the looks of things. There it is, GG. It was like 8 stalkers that got killed. Game number 2 is on the way on 2,000 atmospheres. 2. In the bottom left, down 1, it's Astrea. In the top right, it is herO. Having come back from the military, he was actually doing quite well, apparently, on the ladder. Many of the other Koreans were saying they were very impressed with him. He was not doing all that well in his return to tournaments. And recently, he even had a bit more of a dip where he didn't qualify for GSL. But it's, you know, really not the expectation for him to just suddenly be back into the swing of things, winning GSLs. It'd be a bit much of an expectation. I do think from the way that, you know, other people were talking about him and his ladder accounts, I think he was supposed to be doing well in GSL, but sometimes that bracket seeding can be quite bad. But he seems to be on the verge of qualifying for ASUS ROG. herO is certainly no foreigner to the international tournaments. Dominant force in Korea as well as internationally. I was talking to Roddy, I think, about this. Or maybe it was Maynard, or maybe both, actually. About how I was really excited about herO's return, because he's one of the few remaining players where I get really excited to cast him and to watch him through a tournament. Like, if he gets knocked out, I guess it's game over, man. Pig also might have been saying this, too. But, yeah, like, I just want him to win at all costs, and I get really disappointed. I think no when he doesn't win. But one of them, or all of them, were like, well, didn't you get all your fair share of casting herO back when he was in the height of his power? And I was like, wasn't that like 2016? Maybe 2018 before he went to military? And they were like, yeah, exactly. And I was like, no. I didn't cast like any international tournaments. Well, I cast 2017 BlizzCon, but I don't think I ever got, if he was there, and I don't remember if he was or not, I never got to cast any of it. And they were kind of shocked. I do remember specifically, Roddy has told me at least twice where he was like, honestly, I just assume that you've been at every tournament for the past 6 years. Which I'm like, I'll take that as a compliment, thank you. Alright, so Astrea has gone for a double Stalker opener. Very safe indeed. herO goes for a double Adept opener. Is actually going into more Adepts, which means more Adepts. It's 2 or 6, kind of what happens with Adepts. It's not usually 4. Not sure how 20 lurkers versus 20 immortals works out with Splash. I mean, all these things are very dependent on like concaves and focus fire capabilities, but actually I'm pretty sure 20 lurkers would win. Immortals look good against lurkers for a second, and then their shields disappear, and then they're as equally vulnerable as a stalker is. So like 10 lurkers would die, yes, but then the 10 lurkers would win against the remaining immortals, I think. So I'm gonna go test it. 6 adepts can be a real bother, but so far it's an okay defense. I mean, just by the fact that nothing's really happened. Astrea has gone for a 1-base robo build, something that herO seems to have picked up on, thus was maybe eager to fall back. He doesn't see a nexus from his opponent after all, so that's a little concerning. herO's gonna grab a couple of shield batteries, realizing that something is up. But herO also has his own robo, which I think is not what Astrea wanted to be up against. Astrea wanted to be up against someone trying to get the blink, an investment not yet worth it. Instead, it's a robo, which is an excellent early game defensive tool. Astrea's gonna have to work some micro magic to get it done. Oh, force field, not gonna happen, not worth it. It was very scary though. It was scary for a second. If you were asking if Thors or Immortals win in the same scenario, I would say Thors win, yeah. Kind of the same problem, honestly. Force field on the ramp eventually does happen, and all of Astrea's armies in the natural. Same cannot be said for herO, who's also being very reserved on his overcharge. Waiting until the last second when his army can actually make use of it. He can make use of it, but the army itself was already pretty intimidating for Astrea. Astrea realizing can't do very much more there. It's gonna pull back. Not enough damage. Nexus completely behind, 100% behind. Workers should change as soon as herO realizes he's no longer under such severe pressure. Should get back to building probes. But Astrea is following up with a Disruptor, which can actually continue the contain, and we've certainly seen games won by the player in Astrea's position. Astrea finds the Warp Prism with both Immortals. Oh, that helps. That helps so much. Astrea's Warp Prism is still alive and well, looking for more harassment too. Could always be recalled if it really can't escape. hero's gonna try and use his adepts, which means that they could sacrifice themselves and be even less army supply for hero to use, so he's gotta be careful about this. Stalkers unload for 3 more probe kills, and then skedaddle, some free damage for Astrea. Recall went down, it looks like, from the Stalkers to clean up the Adepts, of which 2 will escape. Hero must know that Disruptors could be on the way. I don't know if he actually saw this Disruptor, I don't think he did. By the way, I believe Parting just 2-1 to Beyond, so Beyond's gonna have to fight in the lower bracket. Astrea's got some vision, but not for much longer. Wait, where's the observer? Oh, there he is. Oh, the Adepts actually got into the main. So trading probe kills, because Astrea had done a little bit of economic damage with his 4 Stalker hit squad, because hero had to stop building probes in consideration of the attack. Despite being behind an entire Nexus, Astrea actually never really dipped that far down in economy. Well, yeah, I never really did. In fact, he's actually spiked more than hero has. Twilight Council is coming down now for Astrea, who's not going to go for the 2-base all-lane or contain, despite some favorable engagements. He is still going to have the superior Disruptor technology, so whenever he does move out, hero has to be very concerned. The best thing for hero is probably to attack himself. That lets you control the area a little bit better and force out some Disruptor shots. If you're just being corralled into your own base against Disruptors, that's pretty much the worst case scenario. But then again, you also don't necessarily want to take an actual engagement, so it's a bit of puffing yourself up, pretending you're super, super strong. Astrea's got a Disruptor and a Warp Prism that just killed 8 probes. herO's got 2 Immortals again in a Warp Prism, but not nearly as successful. And again, just loses the Immortals. Saves the Warp Prism this time, but herO not having a particularly good game. Despite what should have been a good defense against the attack, complications of PvP arise, man. Just because you defend an attack in any StarCraft game, actually, in any matchup, doesn't necessarily mean you win the game. If you have to cut corners, cut economy to defend an attack, you gotta take that into consideration. If they have a bigger army versus your economy, that's obviously bad. If they have more technology versus you, then that can be a factor too, so on and so forth. And in this case, at the end of the day, Astrea has managed to find an army supply lead, a worker lead, a technology lead. Is he also starting to work on Blink, which would be straight up... I mean, herO's not even gonna get Blink, so that'll just be a easy victory there. Is that the only Disruptor? No, there they go. Oh, no, right on top of the Stalkers, right on top of the Immortals, actually. Astrea saves 2 Disruptors, too. Loses the Sentry with the Guardian Shield, but now with the Immortals kind of... Well, actually, not out of the equation. They're being saved, they're being microed, and those 2 Immortals really pack a punch. Astrea not able to win right there. herO's made 6 Immortals in this game, by the way. And it's the last 2 that actually look impressive. Oh, just kidding. herO's still dead. Oh, Disruptor shots. Oh, you. Astrea doesn't have Blink, which is why this has not been so one-sided, but he finally takes out the pesky little Warp Prism that's been keeping herO alive. And now he has Blink. He also has to... Hey, his 3rd Nex is actually done. Didn't even notice that. He's got the ability to make more units, more production for more units, more technology, and more expensive units. herO is on his own Disruptor. One little tiny Disruptor. He's gonna need one hell of a shot. One hell of a shot. One hell of a shot? Nope. Oh, herO saved the probes, but lost the rest of his army. You might consider this a bit bold from Astrea to be still harassing with the Warp Prism. He doesn't know if his opponent went into Blink or not, like for a fact, I suppose, but I think he could read into enough of the situation. And now Astrea only has to worry about the Disruptor. He knows the Stalkers were all alone off to the side, so he blinks aggressively on them. He's gonna lose his own Stalkers, though. But then the trade out of the Disruptors happened, and that was really herO's last chance, was that Disruptor. There it is, GG. Tied up series! We might actually have a North American qualify. How about that? Is anyone casting Hearthstone versus Classic? Unfortunately, there's not many casters today. Despite the quality of players. So, no. Unfortunately. There's a lot of good games happening in the lower bracket, but no one's there. Steadfast is actually going to join this game. Because I think the bottom side of the bracket, it's like the last games are currently happening, so he'd have to wait for like a game 2 or something anyways. By the way, bottom bracket updates. Bonnie defeated Gumiho, knocked him out of the equation. Marine Lord knocked out Fjol. Harsum knocked out Classic, and B knocked out Bly. It didn't really compute in my brain that Steadfast was giving me the option of co-casting or he'd raid me, despite that's being exactly what he said. No, I feel a little bad about saying no. Not bad, not bad. I just figured, you know, it's one last game. I don't want to bother with getting Discord and all that, but... Steadfast could have stayed. You could have cast the last game, too. Alright, we got our last game of the night on this stream. As I said, I think the lower bracket's playing out their last round, and the rest will continue tomorrow, so not really a reason to stick around after this one. Top left, romanticide, we have Astrea. Bottom right, we have herO. And whoever wins this gets that invite into ASUS ROG. Whoever loses has another shot to get the last qualification spot. There's only one more in the lower bracket. So whoever loses this would have to face the likes of Beyond, Time, Bunny, Marine Lord, Skilless, Creator, Harsem, Ethermal, and B. There you go. So you don't want to be in that position. Considering their results, it seems like either thing could happen. You'd finally have a North American actually qualify, or we could have another Korean qualify. I am okay with both options. I really like both these players. I no longer have a severe bias towards Korean players. Although I am still slightly more biased towards herO. I want both of them to get through. Why can't all the qualification spots from North America go to Protoss? Imagine that. Parting herO and Astrea. Good times. I absolutely think either one of these players could make it to the lower bracket run, but I would not guarantee it for either one of them. Especially because Beyond is waiting. No mind games for now. Keeping their pylons at home. Being good Protoss players. I haven't had wrist issues in a while, but I've been doing so much casting and working. My wrist is actually starting to hurt. Ah, 2 stalkers coming out from herO. And a shield battery? Just to lock the probe in, I guess. Yep. Cancels it as soon as the stalkers pop. Astrea wanted to know what the units were, but then he also wanted a chance to escape with that probe, so you take away the chance. So Astrea knows that it is 2 stalkers. It can be a little concerning, because as much as the 2 stalkers can be defensive, they can also go across the map and be a little too aggressive. Astrea is going to have a sentry, a stalker, and soon to be 2 more of those units, and that would be enough. Defender's advantage definitely very real in PvP as long as there's no warp gate. Thank you, Alaska Winter, for the 13 months. Good attempt at the force field, but actually ends up being wasted. herO is continuing to dedicate to stalkers, which I was going to say probably means one thing, a proxy of some sort. This might be the build I was talking about last game? No, it's not. Okay. Well, I guess it still could be. You could not build Blink immediately if his aggression's working, but it's not working, so I wouldn't advise it. Oh, there you go. Uh-oh. 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 Oh! Double uh-oh! Oh no. Oh, that actually might be why Astrea... Oh, yeah, they're gonna have to restart this game. Detected. Arming raid yeah, that timing's way too problematic. They're gonna have to do a recover. Thank you, Steadfast, for the raid. I was telling my chat I didn't really compute that you were gonna bounce if we didn't co-cast, so... I thought you were just gonna stick around and cast. And thank you for the raid. Well, I mean, they're gonna have to recover either way, because Astrea seems to actually be disconnecting. So, they'll probably recover at like 345, 342, something like that. I mean, we'll never know if Astrea was actually going to pay attention. That's unfortunately something we can't know, but the expectation for professionals is yes, there's going to be a block. So, if there was like a referee, there's not though, but if there was, I think you'd give them the benefit of the doubt.
Game paused.
Bit awkward. Let's see if it was just a BattleNet crash or was internet actually disconnected. Seems to be a BattleNet crash. Oh, wait, no, there he goes offline. And he's back online, so yeah, seems like a StarCraft crash. I'm hoping that he actually pressed the recover. Okay, you did. Okay, phew. I didn't see what time they put it at, but it should be about 5 seconds before his actual disconnect. I was talking about something before that happened, but I really don't remember what. It's actually more than 5 seconds. This is like a 7, 8 seconds, but as long as herO agreed. Either way, it's all Gucci. The thing is that, you know, herO still makes the mistake of overextending with his stalkers, which he, you know, that was just a mistake from him, not a disconnect issue. And herO still gets to send his Adept Shades out, but this time around, Astrea 100% should have the pylon block. And that is, okay, what is the situation again? What happened in this game? Oh, I was gonna say that, you know, sometimes the Protoss do the build units thing. And herO could have done that, but he does not. A little bit of a trap on trap situation. Turns out the better trap was made by herO. Oh, whoops. There we go. Gets the Stalkers, gets a Sentry. Astrea does successfully block, though, the Adept, and ooh, barely last second cancel. But that was, I think Astrea was actually, like, he won. I think he was actually setting up a bait over here. Just didn't work out the way that he wanted it to. Anywho, herO might have also been setting out a bait, and that was exactly how he wanted it to go down. At this point, though, herO's little aggression is starting to turn a bit sour. If he finds a Sentry, it might be okay, but nope, not gonna do that. Not gonna kill the probe either. Resource trades currently favoring our red Protoss, or North American, and he's got an Immortal. The Robo opening apparently somewhat valid on this map, just this map too. If you're just doing it as like a macro opener, like not a defensive opener. And that's what Astrea has opted for. He's gonna have an aggressive push then, and herO's not gonna have much to say about it until it's basically at his front door. He doesn't have Blink, he can't control the push. He's gonna have to build some shield batteries and hold on, but it is fortunate though. His Adepts did die without doing any damage. They scouted. That is actually pretty fortunate. The Immortal might have been better off trying to hide itself, because by even now, herO actually would not have scouted that it was a Robo play. Perhaps a missed opportunity from Astrea. Now herO has his shield batteries done, he has his extra warp-ins, and, well, he's gonna have Blink either way, but now he can utilize it very effectively. Astrea is still gonna go for the push, try and make something work with the force fields, of which he has a decent number. But up against the shield battery overcharge, you pretty much know it's not gonna work. you know. Some decent force field attempts. The Stalkers do take some hull damage for blinking out. Astrea is going to grab a third Nexus behind this aggression since he won't have very much map control once he leaves, since he's not the one with blink. Get the third Nexus down and set up and then start working your way to your own blink, which is exactly what he's doing. That +2 on the way for herO, though, that is going to be nasty to deal with. An entire 2 upgrades ahead. I have no doubt that Astrea will go rather speedily to Disruptors, but that's actually pretty big. That's a pretty big upgrade lead. You usually don't want to be too hasty going to Disruptors, despite what Astrea has done in the previous games. The Romanticide's a pretty good map to actually be able to do a robo opening, that push, and still live, and then actually go into quicker Disruptors. Problem with Disruptor transitions, it's a lot of resources into something that's not going to be immediately helpful. You're waiting for the Disruptors to pop, you're waiting for the Robotics Bay to finish. You're waiting for enough Disruptors to actually be effective. So you don't want to get there too hastily, but with Romanticide being the map, I feel like it is inevitable that that's the place we'll get to. Disruptors on Disruptors. Astrea is building quite a few gateways, but it's being basically matched by herO, who just got a couple of gateways faster. Charge Temple Archives on the way for herO as well. Astrea is moving out and only grabbing 1 of his third base gases. I was gonna say, like, usually you grab both. Yeah, he's not really moving out, okay. I was thinking if there was a push potential, but I think even if he did push, I don't think I would really like it. No, I don't like it at all. Ooh, he's gonna be pushing into a guy who's gonna have a 2 upgrade lead. Charge already finished, and perhaps even some Archons. Astrea's advantage is that he has 2 Immortals, which get less and less important. Okay, he's gonna try to make it work. He does have a supply lead, but shield battery overcharge. Oh, it's unavailable, not yet anyway. Shield batteries are finishing. This herO is going to take the fight initially so he can utilize the force fields. Take off some units, and this is pretty much what you would expect from the defending Protoss. So far, so good from herO. It's not a 2 upgrade lead anymore, but it is still 1 upgrade lead, and with Stalkers, that's pretty big. Shield batteries are done. Immortal for herO is even out, and Astrea is going to try and force the issue. I just don't see it quite working. Meanwhile, herO has actually been able to segment off a handful of Zealots safely to go for a run by. Kind of a large recall actually comes in. Oh, but then excellent force fields. herO overextends on his side of the map. Or missed micros or something happened there. Char's about to finish up for Astrea, who's managed to keep this position this entire time. herO apparently thinking this guy's got to leave at some point, right? Is starting to move his units, and this creates a very awkward dynamic. Astrea is going to see all the Blink Stalkers and none of the other units, but doesn't really know exactly what's going on. Is going to just go for the attack. He sends his Observer back home because he's like, seriously, what the hell is happening? Watches his back flank. And we do again have the situation where the armies are coming in a bit disjointed, but then again, maybe it turns into a surround. Is herO actually making this a beautiful surround? By the looks of it, he is. No recall available for Astrea because he just used it to defend the harassment. An awkward blink up to the high ground goes terribly for him. No War Prism to save his Immortals, and this was catastrophic. I think if Astrea had actually been able to see herO's splits, he would have been able to go after the Stalkers first, then the Charge Sentry Immortal, but he didn't realize there was the split happening, and then, yeah, eventually just became a pincer move, right? It just became a sandwich for herO, one that Astrea, you know, the only situation there was that he took a fight with one army and then the other. Now the situation is emergency DTs. Thank God for Invisible Men. No Observer from herO. He takes a lot of damage because he blinked so aggressively, thinking I've got a slam dunk victory. So the supplies even up for a hot second, but are quickly back in favor of herO. The DTs turn into Archons, not thinking they have much time left, and they really don't. An Observer's already here. herO is going to take game number 3. Astrea Oh, it was a dangerous game he was playing by pressuring, but I didn't think the pressure was going that poorly. You know, if he was able to evacuate, then all's fair, but he wasn't able to evacuate. herO, I could have gone the other way around. Could have gone the other way. But DTs won't be saving the day anymore. Ay. Astrea's got the try in the lower bracket. herO will be our second qualifier for today. Alongside Parting. Lots of Protoss coming in. GG. Overall, very well played PvP, but herO comes out the victor.